Hi guys, all right, we're gonna do our reading lesson today. It is Unit 5, Week 5. What you need is your reading sheet and your big reading book. And your big reading book, you should be open to page 452. All right, let's talk about our essential question this week. Our essential question is, how can learning about the past help you understand the present? So a lot of times archaeologists are the ones that are going to search for artifacts that are kind of explaining how people lived in the past. They're going to look for those things that are buried or in places that nobody lives anymore, and those are going to be artifacts that they find. And those artifacts and or information that they find, maybe you can consider it a treasure, are going to kind of lay down the foundations of how and what our past looked like, and kind of how maybe our country or other countries were started and are created. A lot of times I think about the movie National Treasure, which would be great movies for you to watch while you're at home. They're informational. They tell you about a lot of the facts and history about the United States and our government. So we're talking all about digging up the past, digging up artifacts, digging up information, facts, history about how people lived long ago. If we're talking about all that kind of stuff that's history, you're going to know that this is going to be real and factual information. So it's actually going to be a form of informational text. Now, we've talked about expository text, we've talked about informational texts. This week is actually going to be informational articles. So it's going to be an article that was made, and this is actually a story. It's actually an article by Time for Kids. And the main purpose of this is to inform you, and it's going to kind of do it in an organizational way that is entertaining to you. And it's going to kind of include carefully researched facts. Now, since we talked about that genre, on the back side of your sheet, you're going to have a genre, and we're going to talk about how do you know that this is an informational article. Well, this informational article is all about, it's giving you facts and information about people, places, and things. It's going to be nonfiction, and it's going to have lots of different text features. Now, some of the text features that you might find are going to be maybe captions and pictures, headings and subheadings, and then you're also going to maybe have a map, maybe a map with a key to kind of give you a better idea of like this is what you're dealing with. Also a sidebar. Sidebars are like additional information. In this case, these in your book, you're going to have pieces like this. That are going to be sidebars, and you have a couple of them that are going to be additional information to what you're reading. Now, it's not a long read whatsoever. Now, here we don't have any maps, but a map could be a text feature of an informational article. In this case, we're going to be talking all about Spain and the Spanish Beginnings, which is actually kind of interesting. And in this case, you're going to also be talking about proverbs and adages. Now, on the back side of your sheet, it's going to give you one proverb and adage to think about. Proverbs and adages are actually short sayings or expressions that have been used for a really long time to explain maybe kind of like a general truth. So what they want you to do is they want you to find the context clues from the story to figure out this proverb or adage. And it says, Rome wasn't built in a day. Now, you have to go back and look at those context clues around that on page 454 to write down your meaning of what does that mean. And give me 2 seconds. Okay, so you have your proverbs and your adages. Then your essential question we talked about is, how can digging at the past help you understand the present? And in this case, our essential question is, explain the Spanish influence on the United States. How did Spain influence the United States? So we've talked about genre, we've talked about proverbs and adages, and we've talked about our essential question. Now, on the front side of your sheet of paper, you see the big word sequencing. We did this last week where it's in time order. Remember that we're listing things in time order because it's happening in time order. You don't want to mix around your facts and information and start at the end, jump to the middle, and then go to the beginning, or start at the middle, jump to the beginning, and then go to the end. You want to go in time order. The author's going to present this in sequence order already, and it's for the purpose of like, this is the date that it happened. So look for those dates, look for those keywords, first, then, next, and last, those types of things we've talked about in last week's lesson. And then when you're writing your little bullet points and such, or your sentences, make sure that you're summarizing or briefly putting in your own words what you read. So it's going to ask you a question like, what did Ponce de Leon do first? Summarize in your own words on page 453. What did he do first? Write it in your own words, though. Okay, that's where we're getting that summarizing practice. And so you have 4 questions of what did he look for, what did he find instead, what did he do first, and then you have rereading the events. I'm recording, so okay. Well, I can see you. Say hi to Clara.
Say hi.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
When you're doing these down here, you have 4 bullet points, and you have to write the events in order. And you only have 4 lines, and I want you to really summarize in your own words what happened in order. Okay. So, and then on the last page on the back, it's going to have you pick 3 vocabulary words, write down your definition based on the text. So it may not mean exactly what it means from when we do our vocabulary cards to what it means in the book, but try your best. So with that, we're going to go over our vocab words. So our first word is expedition. An expedition is a journey made for a particular reason. So they're doing this exploring or this journey for a reason. So back in the day, people went on expeditions to find certain places, to explore new land, things like that. This example is a wildlife biologist led an expedition to explore the rainforest. What kind of expedition would you like to lead? Sometimes you can go on different expeditions around the neighborhood to find things, that types of thing. Okay, so this one is showing an expedition. The biologist is going to be the one talking right here, and then you have all the people that are on their expedition. Next word is permanent. Something that is permanent is long lasting. And here we have a picture of pyramids. The pyramids are made of large stones, and they stay fixed and permanent. They don't go anywhere. Now, over time, weather can wear them down, but these are pretty darn permanent. You can ask yourself a question, what is a synonym for permanent? What word means the same as permanent? These pyramids, by the way, have been from Egypt, and they were made like thousands of years ago. They're made of heavy stone, and that heavy stone is what makes them permanent. All right, next word is tremendous. We have tremendous. Something that is tremendous is very large or great. So your example is, I can see a tremendous number of stars in the sky tonight. So you can obviously a great number or a tremendous number of stars. If you ask yourself an antonym, well, we have tremendous, which is very large or great. What's the opposite of very large or great? You can probably maybe even say like normal or unremarkable, because it's not necessarily huge or great. It's kind of just standard, normal. If you look at this word, you can see all the different not the word, if you look at the picture, you can look at all the different numbers of stars in the sky. It is kind of breathtaking to look up at the night sky and see all the different stars. They surround you. It's breathtaking. Next word is uncover. So uncover something is to discover it or make it your own. So what did you uncover when you cleaned the old painting? They are cleaning the painting. And why might you uncover, or what might you uncover if you lift up a big rock by a pond? A lot of the times you might find like bugs or insects, but you're uncovering it, you're discovering it. Next word is archaeology. So archaeology is the study of a way that humans lived a long time ago. The graduate student in archaeology helped uncover the ancient temple. How does archaeology help us know our history? Is that these people go back and find things that happened when we weren't alive, so we can understand it better. They are looking at maybe how people made houses or how people got around, stuff like that. They're looking at how people lived a long time ago. Mrs. Crilly used to really like archaeology until I realized that I'm not really good at studying dates, so that was not my strong suit. Evidence. Evidence is proof of something. We talk a lot about evidence in science, and you can see this picture is the detectives that are looking for evidence at a crime scene. And if you look at this, they're looking for maybe fingerprints or something that will tell us tell them what really actually happened here. Evidence is proof of what happened here. So why do detectives look for evidence? Maybe because they want to figure out who did it or what happened here. Here we go. 2 more words. We have document. To document something means to keep a record. So Helen writes in her diary so she can document the days and events in her life. How might an explorer document her travels? You can probably hear my dog. So when you talk about an explorer, how might they document their travels? Often they'll probably write a diary or letters. Something you can do right now is like you're living through history right now. You are living through a pandemic, which is not normal. We haven't had one of these types of things since 1918, so over 100 years ago. Yeah, 1918. So what you could do is you could write a diary and record what's happening. Now, your life now is way different than people back in the day. We have technology, we have cars, we have healthcare systems, we've got doctors that can do a lot for us. So those are the things you can write about. And maybe create a time capsule and put that in the ground, and maybe somebody, if this happens again in 100 years, can read about how you survived that pandemic. Okay, document that kind of stuff. And your last word is era. An era is a period of time in history, usually beginning with an important event. The moon landing in 1969 began the era of the space exploration. I cannot talk today. What ended the era of the horse and buggy? So we had the era of the horse and buggy, but then a new era came into play with cars. So that was what ended the era of horse and buggy. Okay, this is just picturing the moon landing in 1916, and it shows the start of a new era. All right, okay, what I need you to do is read the story, listen to the story. I'm going to make another video of the story playing with the story if you want to follow along that way. Fill out your sheet, take a picture of both sides, post to Seesaw. Keep reading AR, post things for Mrs. Ween to see. She is a teacher on here, so she can see all that stuff. I did post that book challenge to take that book scavenger hunt and kind of look for some things around the house. Read in different places. Do things that excite you with reading. Reading is probably the most important thing I want you to do. That is one way to learn a lot of information. So if you have any questions on your reading, go ahead and give me a holler, message me, text me, email me, whatever you want. We can set up a Zoom and we can talk. Okay? All right. Have fun, good luck, and enjoy your week.